Good day, everyone. We have just rolled into the new month, into September, and I guess children, grandchildren are getting ready for school once again, and the cycle resumes. I want to wish all of you a happy September. We know that our God is with us regardless of whatever we face in the future. We have some interesting readings this weekend that really challenge us in terms of our lifestyle. Have you ever compared yourself to other people and find that you fall short when you compare yourself to your neighbor, to classmates, to co-workers, family members? They all seem to be doing a whole lot better than us. We don't seem to be as successful as we should be. We feel sometimes as though we have not reached our full potential, while others seem to be doing so much better than us. Have you given up on some of your dreams in life? Well, in our first reading today, this is exactly how the prophet Jeremiah felt. His prophetic ministry seemed to have been a total failure. Instead of being taken seriously, he was laughed at, he was mocked and scorned by people. And he tells God in verse 8, let me get it here. All the day I am an object of laughter. Everyone mocks me. Today the media tends to portray generally the successful life of people. But for many persons, life has really not gone that well. Their marriage may not have worked. Their daughter may have run off with a bum, and their son may be on drugs. He may be an addict in and out of rehab. Look at the people in Houston. Some persons have lost practically everything that they had, and life has really not worked out according to plan. Well, as I mentioned, this is precisely how Jeremiah felt. And what he is basically saying is, Lord, you gave me this work to do, and after 30 years, I don't even have one convert. I have not changed the life of a single person. Instead, people laugh at me. Verse 9 says, the word of the Lord has brought me derision and reproach all day. In the gospel reading for this weekend, Matthew 16, 21, Jesus kind of echoes a similar sentiment. It says here that Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer greatly at the hands of the chief priests, the elders, and the scribes, and be killed. All the miracles, the feeding of the 5,000, the walking on water, the crowds that followed Jesus, the changing of water into wine, it's all going to end in a colossal failure. It's all going to end with execution, and not a nice quiet execution, not lethal injection or a couple thousand volts going through your body that stops your heartbeat. No, it was going to be public humiliation. If you think your life is a failure, you didn't get the promotion that you wanted, think about the public humiliation that Jesus faced. The whipping, the jeering by the crowds, his nakedness on the cross, the huge nails through his hands and feet, and the slow suffocation as the rib cage collapses on the lungs and you could not breathe anymore. Think of the people of Houston who lost, as I said, practically everything. In the face of failure, our human instinct is to give up. Jeremiah says in verse 10, "Then I said, I will not speak his name anymore." Jeremiah wants to throw in the towel and forget about his prophetic ministry. And there are many persons in life who have given up. They are going through the motions, they are living, but in their heart they have given up. Life is just a series of events taking place one after the other, but they have packed up long ago. Their dream has died, their effort at self-improvement has vanished. They no longer set goals and go after them. In the gospel reading, when Jesus announces to his disciples that he has to suffer at the hands of the chief priests, Peter takes a completely different slant. He denies it altogether. He says this is not going to happen. And that is one way that we sometimes cope with failure. We pretend that it isn't going to happen, or it has not happened. Apparently the disciples thought that Jesus was going to establish a political kingdom, and they would all get very important positions. So when Jesus talks about suffering and failure, they literally saw their position, their prestige, and their power evaporate right before their eyes. So the question remains, so what do you do? How can you cope if life is not going as planned? Well, the second reading gives us a clue. Paul says in Romans 12:1 that when you face failure in life, and I think in some ways all of us do, just go about pleasing God. Do the little things. He says here in verse 1, "I urge you, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to offer your bodies as a holy and pleasing sacrifice." Paul is saying, just do the little things in life that pleases God. Your presence at church over the weekend pleases God. The call you made to your mother last week to find out how she was doing is pleasing to God. Dropping by an elderly person who does not have a visitor, visiting the sick friend in hospital, watching someone's children while they take a break, being completely present and engaged with your spouse, your partner, your friend, your family members. All of that is pleasing to God. The big picture might not look too good and too bright, but take care of the little things. Besides, what is success anyway? Some years ago, I was posted to a beachside community, a rural community, and a young couple came to me to get married. And you talk about a no-frills wedding. On the day of the wedding, they took the afternoon off because they could not afford to take the whole day off. And they got on the bus and traveled to the church. I allowed them to use my bedroom to change. We put the cake in the kitchen and the wine to chill. And I had to go out on the beach to get 2 lifeguards to come in to act as witnesses because there was no one else there. After the wedding, they changed into their swimwear. We took the cake and wine out on the beach. We all had a good swim. We went back on the sand and I toasted the newly married. The wine tasted like laundry detergent, by the way. And we sliced up the cake and shared it out to whoever was around. They went back to the presbytery, to the rectory. They changed, got back on the bus and went back home. Today they are still happily married with their 6 children and their 2 dogs. They still have little money. The husband works as a security guard in a bank, and the wife is what is referred to as a dressmaker. The husband drives an old dented up Honda Civic. I remember meeting them once in a gas station, and they all waved to me, the whole family. Even the car looked happy. So my question is, what is success anyway? St. Paul says in the second reading, do not conform yourselves to this age, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and pleasing and perfect. In the eyes of the world, this couple is very unsuccessful. They probably have very little savings. And I think they live in a little ramshackle house. But they are doing what pleases God. So as St. Paul says, renew your minds, do your best, and just please God in all things. Take care of the small things, and God will look after the rest. God bless you. Have a great weekend, everyone.